Hey, what's up guys, OSJ here with one of the greatest Commodore 64 software houses ever. System 3 really knew how to knock out a great game, and this list contains some of the best games that were ever released on the system. Formed in 1982 by Mark Cale, they made some truly iconic groundbreaking games for various systems. Their games were polished, and when you bought a System 3 game you just knew you were going to get a quality experience. System 3 is still around today and is the last surviving British independent publisher from the early days. Anyway, they published 16 games in total, ranging from OK to outstanding, and here we are, in order of greatness. Let's start in 16th place with Death Star Interceptor. You can tell that this is a really early game by the looks and the sound. This is a weird game that I really have no idea what's going on, and I'm surmising it's trying to cash in on the Star Wars franchise, which was huge at the time. Unfortunately though, it's not very good. Next in 15th position is Suicide Strike. Again, a really basic looking and sounding game, but this one succeeds in the gameplay department. I like that you have to be at the right height to shoot the enemies and avoid the bullets. Gets a little repetitive after a while though, but still worth a play. Dominator is in 14th place, and I can only describe this as a wannabe Xenon 2 for the C64. Loads of things in this game remind me of Mega Blast, but the lack of music really lets the game down. Not a bad little shooter though, if you're into them. Thirteenth place is taken by Bangkok Knights. As we get more into this list you will see that martial arts plays a big part in System 3 games, and this one, although being a big seller at the time, is one of the worst of them. The sprites are massive and look good, the intro music is great, but for me it is totally let down by the gameplay. In 12th position is Vendetta. This game is much in the style of the last Ninja games, but it lacks one part of a magical recipe that made those games great, and that's the music. As with the last Ninja games, the controls are fiddly and annoying to say the least, but unlike those games, the lack of music makes the controls more noticeable, as you aren't totally engrossed in a kick-ass soundtrack. It's a shame really, because this game could have been great. Juice is in 11th place. This is a nice little puzzle game that is much in the style of Q*bert. While it's not the best looking and certainly not the best sounding, the gameplay is great and definitely worth a play if you like these kind of games. Tenth place is taken by Last Ninja Remix. This to me was a bit of a pointless release, to be honest. Don't get me wrong, it's not crap in any way, but why try to redo the perfection that is known as Last Ninja 2? The graphics are more polished and has some nice intro screens, but the omission of the great Mac Gray soundtrack was a mistake. The music isn't rubbish though, but it was never ever going to live up to Last Ninja 2. ninth position is Turbocharge. The C64 had some dire car games, the worst probably has been Chase HQ. While this one doesn't fall into the bad category. It's a Chase HQ cross Road Blasters type game with a real sense of speed, great looks and even better music. If you were disappointed with Chase HQ, then give this a go, you won't be sorry. Last Ninja 3 is in 8th place. Now if you know my channel you will know that I love the Last Ninja 1 and 2 games, but Last Ninja 3 just doesn't do it for me. I find the controls, which let's face it, on the Last Ninja games is renowned for being awkward, even worse than the previous 2 games. I hate how easy it is to fall off of platforms etc, which for me kills the game, and the music also isn't on par with the first 2 either. Seventh place is taken by Flimbo's Quest. This is an epic platform game with great smooth parallax scrolling. The music and graphics are really nice, but I feel the colours are a bit too pastel and washed out. I actually prefer to play this with the RGB settings enabled on Vice, as it looks much better, but even with the washed out colours this is still an awesome game. In 6th position is Tusker. This game oozes system free. It was released a year after Last Ninja 2 and although it's not as good as that game, it has a unique feel about it. Again, as with system free games, it's a massive game with great mechanics and sounds and looks. It was a little hard for me as a kid, but it's one of my favourites now. Myth, History in the Making takes 5th place. This is one of my all-time favourite C64 games. I remember buying it and loving the box art that I ogled all the way home on the bus. Fired it up and I was amazed at the intro music. The graphics are also outstanding and so is the storyline as you fight your way through multiple myth and legend levels. In 4th place is International Karate. This was System 3's first dabble into the fighter market. It's much in the same style as the great arcade game Karate Champ. The fights only take place in 2 areas, Australia and Egypt. The directional controls are perfect, which is hard to do, but they just work. This was the base for what would become IK+, so although it's not as good as that game, it's still great. Third place is taken by The Last Ninja. This is a truly groundbreaking game on the C64. Never before had we had such an engrossing adventure game that delivered in looks and sound. You may notice that I left the gameplay out there. Well, that's because the gameplay is fiddly and the pickup move can be one of the most frustrating experiences ever. But as everything else is right, you kind of forget about that. One thing is for sure, this is one classy game. IK Plus takes second position. It was touch and go whether to put this one first or second. I actually could have had a joint top position here, as they are so different but also so good. It's really hard to make a fighting game work with a one button system, but as System 3 proved with International Karate, they could do it. Well, with IK Plus they took that to another level with 3 fighters, new moves, great sound and awesome music. This was and still is one of the most loved fighting games of all time. In first place is Last Ninja 2. This is still my favourite action adventure game ever, and that is mainly down to the fact that the music is also my favourite SID soundtrack ever. This game took everything that was great from the first game and made it a little bit better. Who am I kidding? It made it miles better. The pickup move was improved, although it's still the worst thing about the game. This is as perfect a balance as sound and gameplay that I think has ever been achieved on the C64. Okay, that's it from me. Let me know in the comments below what your favourite System 3 games were. And if you haven't already, please like this video and subscribe to my channel if you like my stuff. Till next time, this is OSG, signing out.